What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to Maple Street Aquatics. My name is Brandon and this is our cold water fish room. If you're new to the channel here, all these tanks are unheated aquariums. Right now temperature is about 60 degrees down here. They run down to maybe 55 during the coldest months of winter and get up maybe 72, 75 in the summertime. We do everything really simple, low tech, budget friendly. A lot of these tanks are dirted tanks, capped with sand, some with pea gravel. All the tanks are planted. All the hardscapes as far as the driftwood and the rocks are for the most part locally collected by us. And yeah, we just try to keep things simple and cheap. We run a lot of LED shop lights or LED strip lights for lighting, sponge filters. All the tanks in the whole house are run off of one single pump, a linear piston pump, and Alita AL40. And yeah, that's it. I mean, we keep things really basic. So we're going to get around to doing a fish room tour here for you guys. We haven't done a fish room tour in a while, and we kind of wanted to do one because we've picked up some new tanks recently, a couple of 75s and a 150 that we're going to be incorporating in here. So things are going to change, and we just kind of wanted to document it as it is now. So hope you guys enjoy the video. Alright, let's get started here. So we'll start with these two tanks up here on the left side of the room. These are 20 long aquariums. We use both of these basically for quarantining any new fish that come in. This tank here on the left has two larger black crappie in it that we recently picked up from Jonah's Aquarium. One really good place online to buy native fish. If you're interested in looking into native fish, you'll notice as the tour goes on we keep quite a few native fish. Most of them are collected by us here locally, but some we just can't get to, so we decided to order from him. We have some Java moss. This is dwarf sedge, cryptocorum wendeti, and pretty basic setup in here. There is also some burrowing crayfish. So you can see they've got a little cave burrowed under some of these rocks here. They don't come out very often, but there is a couple of small little burrowing crayfish in here, which are pretty cool to see. Nothing in this tank at the moment. We're about to receive a baby bowfin, and he's going to go in here. So down below we have a 6-foot long custom aquarium. This is a hand-built aquarium, and this houses our rainbow darters. We have a pretty decent sized colony of rainbow darters. There's a male right there. Really cool fish. There's actually quite a few males in here. Also, we have some creek chubs in here, and over here is a white sucker. This tank has some Rotala rotundifolia, typical dwarf sedge. You'll see that in a lot of our tanks, and crypts. We like crypts. So pretty basic. A lot of algae in a lot of these tanks, you'll notice, but we're okay with that. We don't mind it. So we think it actually looks pretty natural. But yeah, this is our rainbow darter tank. And these guys are locally collected from here. I will say, if you're going to collect any local fish from your area, make sure you follow all the state regulations and laws and all that stuff. So do your research beforehand. Also, this tank has a mangrove tree growing out of it. So that's pretty cool. This is a small little 5-gallon, and we keep a colony of scuds in here. These are scuds that we've collected local in the area, and they've actually been breeding for us, so we use them for fish food. Really good fish food. They get quite large. We just throw all of our plant clippings and then also some leaf litter when we clean the ponds out. There's one right there taking a ride down on a piece of pearlweed, looks like. Yeah, I've seen some babies in here recently, so they're actually breeding for us, so good natural fish food. Okay, moving on. This is a 33 long that's been divided into 3 sections. It's got some pretty old leopard danios in here on this section. This section over here are some pretty new fish. There they are. These are little juvenile mottled sculpins. Actually, the kids just collected these guys. If you've seen our last video, took the kids to the creek, and this is what they came back with. So good time, good video. And then over here in this last section is just a standard leopard danio, and then there is also a platinum Madaka rice fish right there, the lone survivor. So that's that 33 long, and then down here is a 55, and this has rock bass in it. Really cool fish, as well as some more mottled sculpins, and these are larger sculpins. These guys are really cool. They're right up there. They're one of our favorites as far as natives go. Very, very cool fish. And this guy, he has got a lot of personality, and he is always hungry. Same thing here. There's some corkscrew val here. But pretty much same thing. Dwarf sage and crypts. More driftwood and rocks. And down here, let's see. This is a pretty interesting tank. This is a Sculpin tank, Sculpin only tank. It's a 55 as well. It's just not filled all the way up. And there's one right there. Here's a big dark, I'm assuming this is a male, very dark Sculpin. And this is a pretty popular tank for us. We do live streams every Friday at 6 p.m. and people really enjoy this tank. And one of the things they enjoy about it is we built this peninsula here of these rocks. And then we put the driftwood on top and kind of backfilled it with sand, and we put moss on the top that actually just came from the woods. And this moss, being on this water line for so long, it's probably been set up for close to 2 years, has actually transitioned into a water moss that's growing under the water. So that's pretty cool. I never knew that would happen. We wasn't expecting it to happen, but it was definitely an interesting surprise when it did happen. So as our mottled Sculpin tank. And moving on up here, this is a 55 gallon, and this is our large warmouth. He's got quite a bit of personality. He really reminds me of an Oscar. He's constantly begging, always hungry. He loves eating minnows, worms, anything like that. There's a pretty large creek chub there, and actually down here in the bottom is a yellow bullhead. You can see right there. So this tank is going to come down soon. This is one of the things that's going to be changing around here. We are going to be tearing down, or actually moving the washer and dryer upstairs. We're going to take this 90 and it's going to go over here to the side where this 55 is, and we're putting a 150 across this back wall, and we're going to use this 55 as the sump. This is a all tempered tank, and it's got a little bit of a haze to it, and I don't really care for it, so I figured it'd make a good sump tank. So that's what we're going to do. These two tanks here are both 20 gallons. This is a 20 high, this is a 20 long. These are probably two of the newest tanks we've set up down here. And there's not much in here as far as fish go. I think I have a couple of fathead minnows in here. Trying to get the cycle going, keep it going. Kind of lightly planted. This is a dirted, sanded tank, as well as this. Two different types of play sand, but this is the All-Star brand, I believe, and this is the Quickcrete, which we definitely prefer the Quickcrete play sand. But in this 20 long is a couple of juvenile dollar sunfish. These guys are really cute, little sunfish. They don't get very large. I think they max out around 4 inches. And we've picked these up from Jonah's Aquarium as well, because although they are a native to the United States, they're not really native to our area. They're more, it looks like, more up the East Coast and maybe down towards the southern states. So we got a couple of those small guys in there growing out. And that moves us over here to this 90 gallon, which is another native tank. So big pumpkin seed, 3 creek chubs, bluegill, and then there's also some other fish in here as well. This is a larger white sucker. And then this guy here, those couple of guys right there are black-sided darters. I believe there's 3 or 4 in here. We've had this tank set up for quite a while. We just kind of keep adding substrate to it. It's not dirted. It does have a little bit of algae, but we actually enjoy it, so we just let it do its thing. And then moving over here to this 125. This is kind of a weird setup as far as fish go. We'll get to that here in a second. This is a dirted tank on black diamond blasting sand. Some Bacopa Monterey, corkscrew valve. I'm not recalling the name of this crypt at the moment. Let's see, more Rotella rotundifolia, Cryptocorn wendeti. This is a new sword plant we just picked up. And this is a Ernate crypt, I believe. But the fish in here are slightly interesting. This is a Gymnogeophagus rhabdotus that has lost its pigment, and you'll be able to see some of his siblings here shortly. Like here are a couple of them. So this is what they look like when they have color. Really, really cool fish. These are Gymnogeophagus rhabdotus batovi. I guess is the location in Uruguay they were collected from. This is Cyclosoma demiris. More Cyclosoma demiris. And there is actually also some Cyclosoma right here, SP rudas in here. These are all from Uruguay. So they handle the cold temperatures really well. Giant Danios, pretty common aquarium fish that handle really cold weather, cold water. Yeah, this is a really cool tank. These guys are actually just starting to put some size on. They're about half grown at the moment, so they are going to get quite a bit larger. And this tank just runs, like I said, on 4-foot LED shop lights. Also a nice selection of bronze Quarries in here. Probably one of our more favorite tanks. It's been set up for quite a while. We trim it quite often, and plants grow really, really good in here. And these guys are begging. Really like these that are here, these Demiris. Alright, so moving on over here, this is a metal frame 90 gallon. This is another native tank. This is a large maple tree root ball. It's actually small maple tree root ball, not very large. It was only about 20 foot tall when I cut it down. But it's got some cool fish. This is a little warmouth, and there's also a few others in here. I think there's about 4. This is a central mud minnow. There's about 3 or 4 of those as well. And then these guys here are spot fin shiners. There's a male, real nice looking male spot fin right there. More black-sided darters. And let's see what we got down here. Here's a, I think that's a female rainbow darter right there. Maybe all I'm seeing at the moment. There's another central mud minnow hanging out back there. Yeah, this is another pretty popular tank. Oh, here we go. This is a Johnny darter. Long, more of a slender darter. Long, slender darter. Yeah, we really enjoy this tank, and a lot of people seem to enjoy it as well, so we show it off quite often. Let's see, over here, this is a 55-gallon drum that we got a filter running in, keep our driftwood soaking in there, and then use it for quarantining bait shop minnows, or if sometimes we quarantine some fish maybe that we catch out in the wild. And then over here, nothing fancy, just a yellow Neocaridina tank. And these down here is a clear or wild colored Neocaridina tank. So that pretty much wraps up the fish room down here. So we will go ahead and move upstairs to continue on. I think there's 8 tanks up there and 20 tanks down here at the moment. So 28 tanks total. And yeah, let's go up there and take a look at those. Okay, so these are the fish tanks up here in our hallway. And this is where actually the washer and dryer will be going. So These tanks are going to be moving. What we're going to do is build a couple of stands, 2 of them. They're going to be identical. The stands are going to have a 75-gallon on top and a 40 breeder underneath, and these are the 2 40 breeders that we'll be moving underneath. Let's start out with this one here. These are Aquatic Nest's red belly piranhas, and then there's also a referee in here. He's an Exodon, keeps everybody in check. These guys are pretty happy. This is a highly planted tank with dwarf sage that they actually keep manicured. We don't do this, they do it on their own. But yeah, this all started out with just a few plants and it just carpets really, really well. Let's see, down here in this tank, we've got some more fish from Uruguay. These guys right here are Australoheros species locale. And then these guys here are Gymnogeophagus terra pura pura, also from Uruguay. And then there is also a couple of red-shouldered severums in here. The other one. I see, as well as some panda quarries. And then there is also a killifish right back there. Pantula panchex proliferi killifish. As well as our breeding pair of bristlenose plecos, super reds, I'm keeping here. Yeah, this is a dirted tank, coming along pretty well, and yeah, these guys we're going to be splitting up into the 2 new 75s, so they got room to grow out. Okay, so down here, this is our female convict tank, marbled convicts. And also we do have a couple of Honduran and red points in here, but we like to keep our convicts separated from males to females, just keep aggression down, and also we don't need that much fry. You keep them together and they pair off, they breed like crazy, so we've learned to keep them separated. Over here are the male marble convicts. There's also some bristlenose plecos in here, some regular browns, and a couple of high fins, actually, long fin lemon drops in here. And then this tank is our Gadiids. These are Xenotoca diadrii Gadiids. These are Cares fish. These are from Mexico. They're a live bear, really cool fish. We've had these guys for a long time. Probably got 10 or so, and we really enjoy them. And up here is, let's see, these are black stripe barbs. These are a little bit of uncommon African barb. And as well as some high fin swordtails and some albino bristlenose plecos. So that'll pretty much wrap up the hallway, or the fishway as we used to call it. And then we'll head to the bedroom now for the last 2 tanks. Okay, and now this is a 15-gallon. This is a dirted tank capped with pea gravel, and it's got quite of a selection of really small fish in here. This is, I guess you would say, our nano tank. Super red bristlenose fry, Neocaridina shrimp, Spixie snails. Let's see, we got some black neons in here. Also some tiger rasboras. There's a large Amano shrimp right there. So yeah, a lot of little fish growing up in this tank. This is one large crypt that all started from one single plant, and it just keeps multiplying, and we just keep pulling from it, starting new tanks, and then some of the bamboo kicking out of the top there. And then over here, this would be the last tank. This is a 10-gallon. We just set this up not that long ago, maybe a month or so back. This is a dirted tank capped with black diamond blasting sand, and it also has some super red fry in there. But these are our white cloud mountain minnows that we got from our good friend Zach. And there's also some Neocardinas in there. You can see one back there on that plant there. There's a couple of reds back in the corner there. But yeah, that's pretty much going to wrap it up for the fish room tour. like I said, we're going to make some changes, so that's why we really wanted to do this. It's been a while since we've done a fish room tour, and hope you guys enjoyed it. So feel free to leave any questions in the comments below. We'll answer them as to the best of our ability, and we hope you guys enjoy the video and have a great day. So see you next time.